It's time to shine the spotlight on one of our more progressive companies in the country. This company started out as a pawn shop in the Visayas and now ranks among the biggest chains in the Philippines.
This week's corporate profile started out as a modest pawn shop in Cebu, founded by a Frenchman who settled there and made it his home. From one pawn shop, it grew to a large chain that eventually found its way to Manila and spawned other businesses as well. One of these is the Cebuana Lhuillier Services Corporation, a remittance company which today is the largest Filipino-owned remittance companies in the Philippines. BNL talked to its general manager, Mr. Noel Cristal, who gave us a brief background on the mother company.
Cebuana Lhuillier was founded in 1953. Agencia Cebuana in Cebu by Henry Lhuillier, who is the grandfather of our chairman today, who is Philip Jones Lhuillier. And the present company is headed by our CEO, John Henry Lhuillier. His brother, Andre Lhuillier, is helping out in other businesses such as Cebuana Lhuillier Services Corporation. Core business of this company is pawning, but we do offer remittances, microinsurance, micro-lending. Basically, we're a one-stop microfinancial shop.
The mother company, Cebuana Lhuillier, started way back, much earlier than the remittance company, which incidentally is observing its 20th founding anniversary this year.
The operation started 1996. Actually, it's our 20th year anniversary this year, founding anniversary. So it started in 1996, and it's primarily doing the remittance business of Cebuana Lhuillier. First office is located at JP Rizal, and then we transferred in our current office at 1600 Baler, and we've stayed there ever since.
Noel Cristal joined the remittance company only in 2012. He recalls that at that time, he only had over 60 employees under his care, but the company has grown and expanded over the years despite the many challenges of the business.
Business back then was good. It's getting better. Although, of course, the business environment keep on changing because of regulatory compliance or requirements from regulatory bodies like BSP. So it's a challenging industry, but we keep on doing our best, and we keep on growing. In 1996, we started with basically domestic remittance. It's from one place here in Manila to another place in the province and vice versa. Then we dabbled on the international remittance. 1996, it's quite manual before. If you know faxes. I'm not sure if the millennials know the faxes right now, but faxes, you just fax this, somebody will receive on the other end, and then we process the transactions. But now it's all digital, it's all electronic. The technology had advanced exponentially. So in just seconds, you could get the transaction or get the money to get the remittances from your loved ones anywhere, anytime. Okay? And here, right now, we're doing international. We're very active in international remittance. We have at least 70 partners globally, and we have presence in most of the countries abroad.
Cebuana Lhuillier Services Corporation now has a marketing office in the United Arab Emirates and a full operational branch in Hong Kong. Note that in these two places, there are hundreds of thousands of Filipino overseas workers, and this is the market they serve in the remittance business. Indeed, the company has thrived well over the years, but it is not without its own share of challenges.
Well, the challenges is actually brought about by the business climate or business environment. As I've said a while ago, it's the compliance, AMLA requirements that keeps on changing, keeps on tightening, keeps on getting stricter. So we have to follow that. We have to follow that. We have to adjust to what the regulatory bodies want us to do. The remittance industry is still, again, as I said before, it's still growing. But we're hoping, as a company that really cares for the Filipino people, we're hoping that at the end of the day, we're just doing domestic remittance. Because we don't want the Filipinos to be really going abroad, seeking jobs there, wherein if we could generate jobs here in the Philippines, then that's better. But as remittance industry as a whole, it's growing, but it's getting stricter because of the rules, regulations, compliance. It's getting expensive or costly to really keep up to date with these regulations and requirements. That's the main challenge right now.
From the pawning business to a remittance business. And from here, they have even branched out to micro-insurance and micro-lending. From the outside, it looks like an unlikely business expansion, but a closer look proves that it is not quite unlikely.
Our chairman is a visionary. He had this wide network of pawn shops, and he has this vision to, to really expand and see what could we. The question is, how could we expand? What's the value of this network? What can we do more with this network? And the remittance business is really just there for the taking.
Having the infrastructure, the progressive network in place is what inspired the company chairman, Philippine Lhuillier, to think out of the box and maximize his network to include other relevant business units.
Our vision really is to empower every Filipinos in terms of the financial capability or financial reach. Wherein most of our kababayans are unbanked, meaning they don't have the capability to get financial services, and that's where we come in. That's why the domestic network or the domestic business is still a priority to expand, to make it bigger, and for us to really reach out to Filipinos who are in the far-flung areas wherein banks, universal banks, rural banks cannot reach them. So we're there.
Indeed, theirs is a case of making the most of what they have. Cebuana Lhuillier is known for providing funds when it is needed most by the Filipino, starting off with their pawn shop business. Now they have prudently expanded their services along the same line.
Right now, we have bills payment, we have e-load, we have what we call collections, we have corporate payouts, we have microinsurance. We're very big in microinsurance. We're one of the biggest. We're starting to grow our micro-lending business also. Our branch is 1,800 plus locally, and we have two offices abroad. That's in United Arab Emirates in Dubai, and one operational branch in Hong Kong.
The company is still working to include more foreign destinations where most likely Filipino overseas workers are headed. But while expanding their usiness, they have not forgotten to give back to the people through their own brand of corporate social responsibility.
We are very active in education. That's one of our priorities, CSR. We are targeting 64 ALS. That's an alternative learning system. Here we do financial literacy, meaning to say we go to these barangays or schools and teach basically how to save, where do you go when you need money, what are the alternatives if there's some financial crunch, etc., etc.
Because of the exodus of Filipino workers, the remittance industry is doing very well. In fact, it is a booming industry, so we asked Noel what sets their company apart.
First, we are there where they are there. Mean to say, the primary destinations of Filipinos abroad, we're there. We have partners. Locally, we are everywhere, basically everywhere. We're in far-flung areas. If you don't see banks, you could see Cebuana. But the main differentiation really is our technology. We have a robust technology that could send out transactions in seconds. Visions of Cebuana is to really the preferred microfinancial company and the preferred Filipino-owned remittance company.
Indeed, the remittance industry is doing well because the unsung heroes of today, the Filipino overseas workers, continue to seek employment abroad and send their hard-earned money back to their families in the Philippines. While everyone hopes that this exodus will eventually be stemmed, these OFWs do need reliable remittance service companies to serve their needs.